We've just learned from our sources in Capitol Hill that an important legislation that links the aid to Pakistan has been watered down to facilitate what is being said is aid money to Pakistan. But the important thing is it represents a signal U-turn by the United States in its policy towards India, because some of those important clauses that have been mentioned in that bill relate to India, relate to Pakistan showing demonstrable action against cross-border terror. Those clauses have been watered down, and it's a significant U-turn by the Obama administration. The Obama administration coming under huge amount of pressure from the Asif Ali Zardari government in Pakistan to water down these clauses, which they claim were untenable. Let me just take you through some of these clauses that have been watered down completely to enable aid to Pakistan, which will now be tripled to the tune of $1.5 billion annually. One of those token gestures that have been reworked in the language of the bill suggests that Pakistan no longer now needs to provide access to Pakistani nationals connected to proliferation networks. In other words, AQ Khan, the principal proliferator in Pakistan, is no longer obliged to answer to the United States or any other country against which he is charged with the proliferation of nuclear weapons. More than that, a very, very important clause that now, goes ahead to cease support, including by any elements within the Pakistani military or its intelligence agency, to extremists and terror groups. This is very, very significant because this legislation had earlier linked aid to Pakistan with a direct condition that it must show demonstrable evidence that it is ceasing any assistance to any groups within Pakistan, including those within the military and the intelligence agencies, in their support of cross-border terror activities on Indian soil. Both of these coming at a time when Hillary Clinton has come out and has also said that she is looking the other way as far as reports are concerned of Pakistan misusing aid money to boost its nuclear arsenal. All of these things coming at a time when there's increased pressure from the Zardari government on the Obama administration to water down its own basic specific line, holding Pakistan responsible for terrorism in the region. We just spoke a short while back with Chidaran Rajgata, the Times of India's foreign affairs editor in Washington. We began by asking him straight off if this represents a demonstrable change in US policy towards this region, specifically towards Pakistan and its links to cross-border terror against India.
Yeah, my first question is, Chidaran, this is a major development. How should it be read? Is it clearly, I mean, the US has suddenly decided to go easy on Pakistan?
Well, there have been a lot of, sensitivities on part of Pakistan that the U.S. legislation so explicitly mentions their, acts of terrorism against India, and so openly demands and links the U.S. aid to access to AQ Khan. While these are things that they may countenance in private, in public, it puts the Zardari government in a very tough spot, and both the representatives of President Zardari and even the opposition representatives, literally across the spectrum in Pakistan, they've argued that these conditions and these benchmarks shouldn't be so rigid, so tough, and so public, most of all. So I think the Obama administration has, listened to that, and they have convinced the House of Representatives to dilute it to only a certain extent. If you actually, I believe the legislation still mentions access to nuclear proliferators, and also mentions that there shouldn't be no cross-border terrorism. It's just a specific name of AQ Khan and specific mention of India, which has been removed from the legislation.
So, I mean, effectively, this is a huge change from the position after 26/11, when America, along with India, was putting up the pressure.
Absolutely, and the reason for this, as Hillary Clinton has obliquely explained, is they genuinely believe that in the last few weeks, and particularly in the last 1 week or so, Pakistan has really changed in nature, and it's acted against, particularly after the action in Swat and Bunair, that they're really cracking down on extremist elements within the country. And much more than that, I think Hillary Clinton also mentioned that she's beginning to sense a change in the national mood in Pakistan, that actually the people themselves are beginning to get scared that, this Taliban is really at their doorsteps, and this option of, terrorism is not a good option. So there's some amount of belief here that things have changed. However, and this is where I think the Indians have some right to gripe, the action on the 26/11 front, there's not been specific action against those who perpetrated that. And I'm sure Indian interlocutors will be bringing that to the attention of the Obama administration.
Well, the first cue of this watering down of the U.S. line on Pakistan, of this total U-turn, it's being described. First signal came from Hillary Clinton, the U.S. Secretary of State, who turned an absolute blind eye to reports that Pakistan was using aid money to further boost its nuclear arsenal. Of course, Pakistan's nuclear program, as we all know, is directed singularly towards India. And therefore, that report was very, very significant. But the U.S. Secretary of State chose to look the other way, perhaps giving us an inkling of which way the U.S. was leaning in this particular region as far as Pakistan and India are concerned. Listen in very closely to Hillary Clinton speaking a couple of days back.
It is fair to say that our policy toward Pakistan over the last 30 years has been incoherent. I don't know any other word to use.
Incoherent, a very significant comment there by Hillary Clinton, given the fact that the Democrats were already arguing for a softer equation with Pakistan, also of once again hyphenating the relationship between India and Pakistan. That was something that had worried India, of course, in the run-up to Obama's presidential campaign. Certain references had been made by Barack Obama, now, of course, who's the President of the United States at that time, when he said that he wanted India and Pakistan to resume the dialogue. India, of course, had called off the dialogue after, in specific, the 26/11 attacks, and also, of course, a large number of other attacks in the country, spread across from Bombay, length of breadth of India, New Delhi, including Ahmedabad. Let's just look very, very specifically at this story once again, because there are certain key provisions worked into that bill that would have given Pakistan some amount of responsibility on answering on cross-border terror. But all of those clauses now watered down. In specific, the mention of India has been removed in the bill. Let me just quote out of it. There is a quote which suggests that seizing support, including by any element within the Pakistani military or its intelligence agency, to extremist and terror groups, and preventing cross-border attacks into neighboring countries. That original bill mentioned India, not neighboring countries. So the term India has been removed from the clause overall. And also, very specifically, very, very important, Pakistan, under the terms of this agreement, was supposed to provide access to AQ Khan, but that now has been removed. The name AQ Khan has been removed, and the word access to Pakistani nationals has been inserted instead of that.